you a little bit about my background, not much. I was in the television industry for 35 years. I would look for products that the world had never heard of. I would buy the patents or the marketing rights to those products. And then I'd put them on TV with major celebrities. How major? Well, I had Ben-Hur and Moses, which was Charlton Heston. I had Tom Selleck, Michael Landon. I had Colonel Potter, Harry Morgan from MASH, Gavin MacLeod, who was the captain on the Love Boat. I had Cher. I had Kenny Rogers. I had Joe Montana and Terry Bradshaw. At the time, the only two quarterbacks that each had 4 Super Bowl rings. So what I would do is find a breakthrough product and marry it to a celebrity that I would believe would have a passion about what they were taking to the world with me. I had Michael Landon on education because everybody knew he was a family man. I had Cher on hair care because everybody knows how vain Cher is. And so perfect spokespersons, and had a great life. Our company was always selling. Well, by the time I retired to do this, to actually start into glutathione, our company had already grossed $4 billion. And there were 5 of us that started it, actually 2 of us that started it. And we were self-funded, self-grew, and God really blessed it. It's a series of miracles. But what all my products started, what all my ventures started with a breakthrough product. For example, if you've seen Total Gym on TV with Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley, it was a new approach to resistance training. You could do exercise every muscle in your body in a matter of minutes without changing weights, without going through all that. And you could do it safely without fear of hurting yourself. And Chuck had used it for 18 years before I ever heard about the product. It was a commercial product for rehab and professional sports teams and so on. And we took it, we modernized it, we made it smaller, we made it come fully assembled. We put it on with Chuck, and that's the longest running infomercial campaign in history. It's now been on every year for 26 years, still running. My wife saw it just the other night. And we sold over $4 billion worth of Total Gyms. However, everything changed in 2006 when I met a doctor from the Mayo Graduate School of Medicine. He was an instructor there. But Ryan, I see you smiling. What are we? Are you guys supposed to be on the big screen, or am I? I don't know.
No, you're on the big screen.
Oh, I see you on my big screen.
You're welcome. Good. You're welcome.
Okay. All right. I hope.
Yeah.
I hope those. Okay. You know how ADD I am. And so anyway, oh, there we go. Now I don't see you guys, so that's good. So anyway, I met this doctor, and he also had a clinic in Florida. He was a brilliant MD with 3 certifications: oncology, hematology, and immunology. But he ran a clinic in Florida for very, very sick people. And he was truly amazing at everything he did. And he introduced me to a word called glutathione. I did not believe in supplements at the time. I thought all they did is create expensive urine from everything I had read. Well, I went ahead. He told me about glutathione. He said it's the single most important molecule for human health, lifespan, longevity, performance. As I later found out, there'd be no oxygen-based life on Earth without it. No plant, tree, animal, fish, bird, human. None of us would be here because it is critical to oxygen transfer and oxygen utilization, among other things. But I found that he told me about it. I went ahead and bought the patent, spent millions of dollars getting that to the world. And that was a precursor, like Dr. Jerry said. It would help get the uptake of L-cysteine into the cells. Now, glutathione is a tripeptide. It's made up of 3 amino acids. It's manufactured in the nucleus of your cells by every cell in the body. It's the single most important molecule. It's actually second to oxygen, but you die just as fast. You die within 2 or 3 minutes of no more oxygen. You die within 2 or 3 minutes with no more glutathione. It performs 400 functions, 15 of which are critical to life. How long you live, how early you become vulnerable to the diseases of aging, how fast you age. It's all determined by your glutathione levels. And how well you perform in anything that requires an expenditure of energy, how fast you recover, muscle output, mental stamina, physical stamina. It's all based on your glutathione levels, and they decline by 10 to 15% per decade, starting at the age of 20. So I'm 73, and at 73, I should have less than half of the glutathione I had at 20. But the attack on the cells never go down. Every cell in your body is attacked 10 to 20,000 times a day by free radicals. A free radical is not a guy with a scarf or anything. It is an electron that is, or rather, it is a scavenger that's missing a needed electron. So it wants to steal electrons from healthy cells. And when it does, those cells become vulnerable to all sorts of bad things. And glutathione is an amazing molecule. It donates one of its electrons to the scavenger, the free radical, and neutralizes it. And it does so, it's 1,000,000 times more powerful than vitamin C, vitamin E, any other antioxidant. It's the only antioxidant that handles all sources of oxidative stress, all sources of free radicals. All of the other ones are monofocused. What does that mean? Well, last night I was in a hotel and my little plastic key opened my hotel door, but it wouldn't open any other door in the hotel. All other antioxidants, including vitamin C, vitamin E, superoxide dismutase catalase, they are monofocused. They're like that key to one hotel room. Glutathione is called the master antioxidant because it neutralizes or sequesters any type of free radical. It's like having a hotel key that opens every door in the hotel. That's glutathione. It's the sole protector of your mitochondrial DNA, critical to life. It is the sole protector of your immune system, of your immune cells. Your immune cells are meant to protect you and me, but what protects them? Glutathione. It is the detoxifier of the cell. The liver uses it to detoxify the body. Every liver cell has 1,000 times as much glutathione as any other cell in the body. And so it's critical. So the problem is to enhance glutathione is next to impossible. You can, because both glutathione and its rate limiting amino acid, which is L-cysteine, are both very, very fragile. The stomach destroys them. You can get glutathione IV, but that's only partially effective because the IV solution increases the bulk of the particles. So it will impact some cells on your body, but not all cells. Also, it's much slower. Also, it's much more expensive and inconvenient. IV glutathione has a half-life of 4 hours, which means to be stable, you would need to have IVs every single day. Well, at $200 to $250 a day, not a lot of people want to do that. Plus, it's inconvenient, it's uncomfortable, and it takes hours. So, how wonderful would it be if we could somehow raise or enhance glutathione levels and utilization in the cell in a way that was effective? Nobody's ever really been able to do that. They do it, like I say, with precursors, and Dr. Jerry tried those. Well, what we did, I met with some nanoscientists years ago, and after I left my previous company in 2017, I started meetings up, and I said, guys, could we ever get glutathione and its rate-limiting amino acid, L-cysteine, could we ever nanosize them so small that it would instantly absorb through your mucous membranes in your cheeks and sublingually in the venous cavity? Could we do that? They said, absolutely. You only have to be 100 nanometers or smaller to do that. Well, to put it in perspective, this piece of typing paper is 100,000 nanometers thick. Every strand of hair on your head is 80,000 nanometers thick. We're going to get it under 100 nanometers so it absorbs. Hey, guys, if we could get it under 20 nanometers, we could cross the blood-brain barrier. If we could get it under 10, we could absorb through the epidermis, the 23 layers of dead skin, to get into where all the skin health comes from, the dermal layer. Is there any way we can get it 10 or less? And these guys said, well, let's try it and see what we do. They had a completely different way of nanosizing. Nanosizing is real simple, not easy, but simple, not complex. Particles clump together in solution. You have to separate them. Then you have 20 millionths of a second to encapsulate those so they don't come back together. The rest of the world uses primarily fats. They encapsulate those in lipids, which are fats. And so that liposomal encapsulation keeps them from coming back together. Problem is it increases the size of the particle, and most cells don't like storing fat. Why? Because fat collects toxic material in the cell and just stays there and leaches it back into the cell potentially. So a lot of scientists are pro-liposomal. A lot of scientists are against liposomal. We found a way, and it's proprietary, and we own the rights to it, to wrap the particles, reorganize water molecules to wrap them with water. What happens? Cells say, ooh, I like water, come on in. Okay, and the water molecules serve as a Trojan horse to deliver our active ingredients into the cell. Size-wise, yes, we're small enough. The average cell in the human body is 100 nanometers in size, and the porosity in those cells, the little pores that you need to get through, are on average 10 nanometers. So we do just fine. So we went ahead, we created the technology, we used it with athletes. It had miraculous results. Athletes were breaking world records, personal records. They couldn't believe the recovery times were radically less. They'd work out and be recovered in 15 minutes instead of overnight. If they had a hard workout, instead of taking 2 days to recover, they'd be recovered in 8 hours. And so we saw all these amazing things happening. One of our athletes goes on a 100-mile bike race. She gets the product. This is before we had it branded. I just sent her product out of the lab. I really like her and her husband. She was an Army captain, combat veteran. Her husband was an Army colonel. And so I sent her product for this 100-mile race. First day she tried it was on Wednesday when she got it, and she did a 30-minute sprint on her bike in record time. Next day, she did a 35-mile run on her bike in record time. The big race started on Saturday, 100-mile race. And first 35-mile leg, she once again broke her personal record. Next leg, 2 miles into the next leg, 2 or 3, she gets in an accident. Her bike goes end over end. She hits the pavement so hard it breaks the helmet. And she gets a very severe concussion, and she's knocked out and hospitalized. But her face hit the pavement at 22 miles an hour. Ryan, how can I? Oh, Ryan, you have to do that. Can you? Okay. If you can expand that face. So on Sunday, that's the day after the wreck, you can see that. Well, plastic surgeon comes into her room, says that's going to take 5 weeks to heal. And then wait a month, and after it's had a month of healing, 1 to 2 months, then come see me and we'll work on the scarring. Well, she gets home and she thinks, hey, this stuff is nano. She applied it to a cotton ball, put it on her wounds. That's on Tuesday night. So that's first topical application. She did 3 applications on Thursday. So Tuesday to Thursday. Friday, she did 3. Saturday, she did 3. And by Sunday, lo and behold, her face has not a mark, not a scar. I have sold hundreds of millions of dollars in skincare. I had Cher on skincare. I had Christy Brinkley on skincare. I had Kathy Lee Gifford on skincare. For those of you that are old enough, I even had Angie Dickinson on all these are different lines that we created. Skincare, it's hard to get good before and afters, next to impossible. You can do it on makeup and hair, but skin's really hard, which is why you never see them on skincare commercials. Well, I put some in spray bottles. Can you go to the middle picture, Ryan? And I sent some to this lady who was 59 at the time, told her to spray her face 5 times a day. In 7 weeks, you can see the results. Better than Botox. I sent them to a friend of mine who used to be my formulator. He was president of the American Society of Cosmetic Chemists, and he was a senior vice president with a company that makes Botox. I sent him that before and after, and he said, Steve, I've never seen anything like this. He'd been in skincare for 40 years. He said, that is amazing. Well, she gives it to her mother, who's 80 years old, and in 3 weeks, spraying 4 times a day, you can see the difference it made with her mom. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've got the greatest breakthrough in skincare ever. Let's see the next one. Normally Ryan's right next to me and he's just clicking away, but there's some hands. That's a 59-year-old or what? Yeah, 15. Okay. He's going, okay, those are my hands. And I decided to spray my right hand, but not spray my left hand 3 to 4 times a day for 7 weeks. And you can see the difference in the wrinkle size, the depth, the color of the skin is much brighter, the texture of the skin much smoother. And I used to, anytime we'd have people come to the office, I'd show them my hands. We sent some to a clinic in El Salvador. One of her patients was this young 15-year-old who says he considered himself a freak, just always humiliated. That's called cystic acne. Normally an oral antibiotic might take care of that in as quick as 12 to 14 months because it's the hardest kind of acne to deal with. They don't have that in the country he's in. She gave him a bottle of our spray, told him to spray 3 times a day. And the pictures, the top left picture is day 1, top right picture is 1 month, bottom picture left is 2 months, then 3 months, 4.5 months is the last picture. There's nothing in the world that can do that. Next picture. Okay, that's adult acne. That was gone in 1 month. Not bad. That's from a dermatologist we work with in New York. Okay, that's the worst case of plaque psoriasis I've ever seen. The lesions are elevated. That's really difficult. This man's had that his whole adult life and nothing's gotten rid of it. 1 month of spraying and 1 month of swishing our products. And you can see the result. That's unheard of. Next. That's more, okay. The one on the right is more like most lesions that are talked about in commercials where they say in 16 weeks, 90% of the people see a clearing of their skin. They're talking about that kind. Well, you can see that. That's 2 weeks. There is a wound that was surgery. That's an incision. And as you can see, by day 35, not only is it healed, but there's no scarring taking place. Surgeon was amazed. This is a 3rd-degree burn. 3rd-degree burns normally don't grow new skin. His dad is one of our major shareholders and called me and said, we have to change his dressing once a day. Can we spray it? We go back to see the burn doctor on Saturday or Monday rather. And he said, he told us that that's when he's going to determine what grafting has to take place. Well, they unwrapped the arm and it's covered with red dots. And turns out the mom, Kathy, our dear friend, said, she said, oh my God, the doctor gasped. And she said, is that an allergic reaction? And he said, no, those are skin pods. He said, he's growing new skin. I've never seen a 3rd-degree burn grow new skin. Well, after 7 weeks, spraying once a day, his arm was completely healed without any grafting. So that's kind of the breakthrough. It's because we have an radically increased the bioavailability to levels nobody ever imagined, and cellular utilization. Whenever you read an ingredient on anything, you got to think, okay, what's the bioavailability? Is it going to be accepted by the cell? And will the cell accept a form of it that it can utilize? And the answer is, with us, yes.
All of us stand in amazement. Folks, we've been with companies that grew fast, but nothing like this. I thought the days of this kind of growth in network marketing were done because of the online giants. With Me Too products, you can't get much traction. That's why it's great. Steve mentioned it. They have their own reactor. It's all in-house and it's a trade secret, which is brilliant. Better to do that, and that just shows how savvy Steve Scott is. Better to do that than to patent it, because if you patent something, you have to reveal your formulation and how you do it, and people can access that. So it's very, very smart what he's doing, and we're a part of this. This is taking on a life of its own, like none of us have ever experienced, because it's everything lined up that we've ever looked for in a company. All right here, right now, at a time that everyone on this planet needs it more than ever. Everyone is out there wondering what to do to keep themselves stronger for whatever come what may. Glutathione doesn't get any better than that. We were on with a holistic health practitioner on a 3-way this morning, and she was asking all the same questions I had. Glutathione, how are you getting it in the body? She was saying how amazing it is. Wow, you must be experiencing all of these amazing benefits, because she knew right down the list what this meant. But how can you get it in the body? She knew that no one was effectively doing it. Even the IV glutathione isn't that effective. But what we have in the blood instantly and in the cells in 70 seconds, because of this proprietary technology. Let that sink in. Once this word really gets out, you can see it on these Zooms. It's getting out. People are being attracted to this like crazy. But once it really gets out in a few months, we're at the beginning. We're on the threshold of great things. And like Steve said, you'll have friends all around the world because of what's happening right now. So don't hesitate. Get back to the person that told you about this. Don't waste any time. This is happening with or without you, and it's better with you. We're having fun, we're helping people, and we're loving life.